I'm Haley Stifler with the Stifler Family Foundation. I'm just here to represent my family. My parents couldn't be here, and they're very upset about that. So I think that our foundation helped support you. This was what, starting 7 years ago? Maybe longer. Maybe even longer. Yeah. And I find what's so amazing about this is that it's I don't want to say it's still so relevant today, because it's been relevant for so long. So, what was your experience like with that? I guess I just want to ask that question because it is a true story.
Yeah. If I can quickly.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's based on true stories, and when at the time when it was happening on campus, no one thought that we would actually get to where we eventually got to. Nothing was really resolved completely, as you saw in the film, and I didn't want to pretend as if something we all came together at the end. So because it's not an easy journey like that. But the experience working with everyone, what I learned was actually that when I was on one side and we are talking, you'll be able to see the willingness, the eagerness, the openness, seeing the other side. Even I remember it was the Yafit in the film. Originally at that time, it was Yafit that initiated the whole movement. She had been in the IDF and then she came. She was one of the people who refused to participate any longer. And so hearing those from the students individually, and you'll be able to see that no, what is now the obstacles, and you just don't know how to pull the obstacles, but you know that there's a meeting point right here. So that's one thing I experienced, and I know we were always talking about that. That is one thing we want to make sure that people see when they watch the film.
Yeah. So obviously, as you said, it's the story of how some of the students got together to figure out how civil discourse could potentially bring the sides together. And although this film aired at the Coolidge 7 years ago, I would say it's even more relevant today. The message of the movie is that conflict needs to be resolved. I thought I was going to be saying this before. I don't need to summarize the movie. You have another project coming up. Would you like to speak about that? Or announce it, maybe?
Yes, it's called A Private Experience. It's about a conflict in Nigeria between Muslims and Christians, but you have these young women who one is a Christian from one tribe, the other is a Muslim from the other tribe. How they both get trapped in a small shop during the chaos in the market when there's conflict between these two sides. So it's a story that also shows how they bond together, these two girls that they otherwise wouldn't have met one another. So that's a story that I'm working on.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. Now, I would like to get a little bit to the main cast and crew. So first, I would love to introduce producer Jean Paul to the stage. And I would also love to introduce the main cast. We have Eddie, Andrea, Adramon, I'm so sorry if and Anthony.
And team, please, if you can.
And I'm gonna pass the mic along. Or you guys can pass? Okay. I would love for everyone to introduce themselves. Your name, what part you played in the film, who your cast, your crew, and yeah.
Hi, my name is Tim Estilos. I play the newscaster in the film. It's a pleasure to be part of it.
I'm John Paul Willett. I'm a filmmaker. I came on to help Ramon. I'm basically a producer.
All right, hi, my name is Abdi. I play Hassan, small role.
That wasn't that small.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I play Kaya. I'm Eddie Ferteschi, and my character was cleverly named by Ramon Edward.
Hi, I'm Anthony Hong. I played Donnie Nguyen. I don't think it was supposed to be a comedic role, but it kind of just turned out that way. Sorry.
Everything he plays is a comedic role.
All right, thank you guys. Welcome to the stage. Welcome again. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your life, your day to come and join us for this screening. I do have a few questions for everybody to answer involving just the process of making the film. And yeah, so I'm gonna start with, what was your preparation process like for your role in Theory of Conflicts?
Yeah, you put the mic in your hand.
The preparation, you said?
Yes.
Well, first, we thank you all for sticking it out. The theory of a very, very long conflict. Appreciate you being here and supporting this film because it's, what, almost 10 years old now? We shot this when we were babies, pretty much. Somehow, he was age. I don't know how he does that. But as far as preparation, you have to have really thick skin to be a no-name actor in an independent filmmaking world, because we were all promised this big project, and it was a big project, but we had to go through hell and back just to have things made. We had to like beg, borrow, and steal just to have locations. Sometimes I remember there was times where security would come up to me and tell us that we had to get the hell out of there because we didn't have a permit to be there, even though we thought we did. And we were having to live down a really bad reputation for a while, that this film was like a chaotic, disorganized train wreck. And it was, but it was a beautiful train wreck that came together, and Ramon, and he edited it beautifully. But as far as preparation goes, I just had to get that out of the way because I've been holding that in for 10 years. Preparation, I didn't have to go too deep with some aspects because my own personal opinions kind of were reflected in the film, which is, I kind of just don't want to have to take sides. I want everybody to get along, and that was my character's approach. But as far as playing Edward Dudley, Ramon gave me a lot of freedom to nitpick my role and decide how I wanted to deliver his emotions. And that was really nice of him. Either that or he was just too distracted by so many other moving parts. So thank you for that flexibility down to the wardrobe and everything. And I think as far as preparation, I would say I let Mo drive the movie as much as I could. And I was always trying to play off of him, and I let him drive because I think his brain was the one really steering the story, and we were just kind of all there to let it unfold. So that's kind of my approach on how I decided to play it.
Andy, can I ask you one little thing?
Sure.
Your character has a real arc. You
Yeah.
start out as a real jerk,
Yeah.
right? A womanizer, you treat women badly, and you learn over the course of the story. So,
Yeah,
that's part of your, obviously, preparation to be able to give us that.
Yeah, he did evolve quite a bit throughout those 5 hours. Yeah, he started as somebody with no direction. He was just a rich kid that had life easy and everything was handed to him. And I think that was getting to him, that his only way to validate his existence in this life was to get laid. And then he kind of got attached to these friends that lived with more of a purpose that he could validate himself with. And you get to see him really have a coming of age moment where he actually found something worthy to care about, even though, a beautiful woman led him there, but that was kind of how he had to figure it out, I guess.
Anyone else? These are all open,
I think for me, this was sort of obviously, my first time acting or being part of this. Not necessarily wasn't thinking too much into it as far as like a backstory or, method of acting, but I think being around, actors like Muhammad and Eddie, all those guys and seeing them on the daily, kind of preparing and kind of, you know, hearing the story as far as the backstory for character and all that stuff is a lot to learn from. But, you know, overall, you know, independent filmmaking, we were doing more than just acting. We were like helping out behind the scenes and, you know, kind of putting it all together in a way. It was great.
So cast and crew meant everybody.
Yeah, we all wore a lot of hats. Sometimes we were carrying sandbags, and other times we were, memorizing lines. It was a whole big news bag. Go for it.
So for me, it was a little different. I had the accent, the hijabs, and just the whole, just learning the culture and trying to be as authentic as I could be. So I was really lucky. I had a friend who was a dialect coach, an accent coach, and she, since it was before YouTube was really a big thing, there were no resources to connect directly with people like we have today. I worked with kind of just studying like materials that that this wonderful woman that I had met on another film, she provided me with. So the accent part was just my best guess with all of that synthesization of material. And then the hijab fashion, which you guys probably don't care about, but for me it was actually really fun. Ramon was very, very helpful. We kind of, the hijab fashion was a huge part of creating Haya. She doesn't show her hair at all during the film, so the hijab really like completes the outfit. And so for me that was really fun. And Muslim women are amazingly fashionable, and so that was hard for me because I'm not, so that was difficult. Yeah,
Sure you
so, but yeah, I think that was basically, for me, it was the accent and the fashion and just kind of diving into who this young refugee would be, She's got a traumatic past, and so to kind of tap into that and to, the emotional journey preparing for that was a lot, but it was fun too.
Sorry, was that something that was written in the script that you had to kind of go off, or you just made that up as far as
The
research?
Which one?
Like the accent,
Oh,
giving her sort of the backstory.
Because she's from Palestine and then Lebanon, and then she goes to the U.S. I had to kind of combine all of them because she may have learned English from someone with a British accent, so it was very, but yeah, she has that history of traveling from here to here. So, yeah.
Anthony, I would love to hear from you.
You sure?
Yeah, what they said. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, as far as prep goes for this, I think this was my second role in a feature by the time I got off of the tour. So I started off as a Ringling Brothers Barnabas circus clown. So we were used to playing for theaters, arenas. So like my acting was like here, and hopping on this movie, I had to really tone it down. So there were a lot of times I had to reel it back in. But progressively through the movie, in the beginning, my acting was it was all right. But I think as we went on, it got a little better because I started getting a groove. I think a lot of times with this one, we didn't have a lot of prep actually. We never did any table reads or got together.
Zero.
It was very run and gun, so we didn't have a lot of rehearsal. So whatever you had on the script, you memorize the lines. You kind of just say it, and you understand to a certain point. But I think the real magic happened when we were all there, riffing off of each other and each other's energies. Yeah, I think that's where it kind of came to life. And I was like, oh, okay, now I get what we're doing.
Yeah, we goofed around a lot too, though.
Oh yeah, there's so many memories in this movie.
We became
Yeah.
good friends, though.
Oh yeah.
You're a for lifer now.
I was gonna, I'm just saying, that was like 11 years ago. Anthony still looks the same in a way, right?
People lost a little weight since then. I hope.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. So 2011, just watching this film and seeing the iPhones we were using at that time, the clothing and all that, just completely looks different.
I do want to say too, Andrea, I feel like they put you in so many predicaments in this film, and I think the way you played it is still very relatable to the conflict that we're all a part of today, we're witnessing to, and I think that performance still carried over 10 years, and it's still a very relatable sentiment when you're in an uncomfortable situation. And I think you played it so believably well and so accurate. I think props to you for that.
It is the central trauma of the film, her existence, and then it's passed from you to, what's her name? Yeah, she. And it's interesting that, obviously, with all these guys, you girls really pulled off.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna pull the questions now to my friend Tim. He has a few questions to the interviewer, so take it away, Tim.
So, it's been a little while since I've seen this film. And in a way, is tonight the first time you've seen it complete? The film?
For me, it was good.
For you, oh,
I had a hard time watching myself, so I've never actually watched the whole film with the volume on, so this was the first time, yeah. So it was actually kind of hard to watch at times, but the guys did a great job.
Yes.
I actually felt like embarrassed, I was the only one like laughing.
Yeah, because it's the last time I saw it, it was still in the works. It's been several years. It's amazing to see it now complete. Though I have to see that section that I missed when I came out there, so I got to get another screener to take a look at it. It looks wonderful. So, since this is the first time that you've seen it in this completed form, what are your thoughts about what you put into this and what the film says to other people?
I was actually just really struck by how powerful, like, I don't think it's the big screen, I think it's the content. It's so beautiful, but it's also really hard to watch at times because it's so real to me now. And all of you, I think the way the audience views the film now is probably 10 times more intense than if we had all seen it 10 years ago. I think, everything is just amplified, which is a cool part of being in something like this, where it's a snapshot of 2011 or 2014 when we filmed, but now it's just, everything's just bigger. And, I was speechless, I guess. I just wasn't expecting to feel as much as I felt, so I don't know if that's kind of how.
Anybody else? Well, see, we're going to get everybody to speak at one point.
Kind of what Andrew's saying, this was like a time machine back in 2013. It's crazy. I haven't seen some of you since then, so it's wild just having everybody in one room. It's really cool. Unfortunately, yeah, all these issues are still relevant today, and I think reminded me of like a timeless masterpiece. Yeah, crushed it.
Eddie?
First of all, in the meantime, I want everybody to try and think of a wacky question to ask, because I know there's going to be open up the floor for a Q&A. I really want to see some participation, because this film was such a crazy making that even if it's a crazy, funny question, please ask it. We really want to engage with this, because the process was like insane getting this film made. You have no idea. But yeah, so where were we again?
I was asking you your thoughts about this film, seeing it in its complete form, and
weird
now
how it took on another life of its own, almost a decade later because of what's going on. It's almost like you wonder if Rahman had some sort of divine intervention, interfering with his writing when he sat down to write this, that it would be so relatable to a decade later, and it's probably still going to be more relatable, as the years go on. And it's just crazy to see.
Hopefully not.
Well, yeah, hopefully not. But there's always, unfortunately, I feel like there's always going to be wars that everybody's going to feel like they have to participate in and take a side on, and that's just the fact of life and how the world goes around these days, sadly. And either way, no matter who's debacling, there's always going to be the same formula underlying it all, and I think that's what gives this a timeless story.
well, that sort of leads into the second question that I had in terms of the lens that you looked at it through at the time it was being made, the time that we were working on it, and now 10 years has passed, and certainly in the last few months, in the past year, we've been seeing a ramped up sort of real life version of what's taking place in this. There may have been a certain sort of conflicts like this on campus at the time that we were making it. That's what instilled it, that's what inspired Rahman to make it, but now it's even more so. So I want to get your thoughts on where we are now and how important this film is from each one of you.
I just think it's more important today than ever because of just how real it all is, how important it is for people to see that conflict can have a resolution that doesn't involve so much violence and so much hurt and so much pain. I just think that, to me, the fact that people can come together and talk and they can disagree and that's okay, but it doesn't have to be something that's always so violent, so terrible, with such a needless waste of human life. And hopefully people today, if people have the chance to see this film, hopefully it will at least make them pause and think, maybe there is a better way. Maybe there's a way that doesn't include so much hatred on one hand, because there's too much hate in the world right now. And also just that we can see peace and reach it quicker, I guess.
Yeah, to speak to that, it just proves that it can be done and that there is a resolution if you all want to participate and find the resolution. And there's a good, clear example right in the film. So hopefully they can use that as an example to, hopefully lessen the craziness going forward.
I would say, obviously these stories are now, happening in college campuses. We've all seen what's happened with student captains and all that stuff. I do think this definitely serves like educational purpose for, rural areas or areas where, like it's not like, main cities where, big universities where these protests are happening, but, other neighborhoods where, you don't get this kind of protests happening. I feel like this film can kind of serve that as educational, especially in the end of the film. You see how it ended, kind of coming together of just finding a way to kind of coexist.
In fact, this is a film that couldn't be made right now. It would be very difficult to convince anybody to make this film today.
Right.
But actually, it's a good time to show the film because it is needed.
What did you enjoy most about working on this film?
To be honest, I almost walked off set like 4 times.
Or what didn't you like about working on this film?
It was just so much mayhem because it was, poor Ramon had so many moving parts to juggle to get this made that it really tested our patience. There were times where I think we all kind of thought about throwing in the towel, but then we kind of realized the bigger picture, like we already have skin in the game, so we should probably just stick it out and see what happens. And I think we're all glad that we did because, now we're seeing this as an actual, like, valuable tool for society to use as a reflection piece.
I was actually just going to say Vermont was my favorite part. I absolutely love Vermont. I loved working with you. I loved the way that we collaborated on something like fashion, which most men wouldn't think was exciting, but you were better at it than me, so that was really awesome. And just the fact that you believed that I could play this character that was so very different than the person, well, not necessarily the person I am, but on the outside who I am. That you had like a vision that I could play this young lady. It meant so much, and just working with you every day I showed up. I don't know, I wasn't there as much as you guys, but every day I showed up, I learned so much from you, so I guess I'm just really thankful I was a part of it.
I would say definitely, yeah, absolutely the same thing, I kind of learned a lot from, Rahman, seeing, how he was challenging all the stuff that he was dealing with, as an aspiring filmmaker, watching him sort of, kind of deal with all this cast and low budget and, again, location problems and all that stuff, and just kind of trying to handle all that stuff. It's just fascinating to watch. Maybe this is a question for him.
Yeah. What was your favorite part, Ramon?
What was most challenging?
Or most challenging?
Most challenging? The whole film. Yeah, it was very difficult to make the film. Just like so that's why all of them we haven't had the opportunity to show this because I really love this guy so much because having the story I wanted to tell it. And like Eddie said, it was true. It's like you were promised something that you were going to do, and then things changed. But there are some things that were happening behind the scenes that I couldn't let the actors see. And I was trying to carry, for example, we had a budget, and we had where we were supposed to get the funds. But because of the script, some people wanted to change certain things here and there. I'm like, we can't change anything. The film has to be like this. So they lifted the money off the table. The people that have promised us, we're going to do this, we're going to do it. What am I going to say today? And then to postpone to, I just felt like at that time we have to. So there was no money at the initial stage. I think the first thing was I just opened my bank account and everything will finish in 5 days. And then I have to go and look. So the style of making the film, everything changed from what you had planned, structured, how you were going to sort of like guerrilla filmmaking that we were just. So the fact that they all stuck with me, I mean, that is a miracle. I don't know how it happened, but yeah, that's a wonderful thing.
One quick thing too, I want to just give a shout out, I don't think he's here, but our director of photography, Darren, totally rose to the occasion, and you would not believe the hell he had to go through to film this for Ramon. I mean, he was on his tippy toes the whole time. And so if he hears this on the recording, Darren, we love you for getting this done for us.
And we have to mention Carlin Fournier. Without Carlin, we won't be here because she pulled everyone. She cast most of pulled Eddie, right? I think she was the one who called you, and many of you. It would be like she would just look at her dress book. Oh, I know someone.
She's Eddie's mother.
Yeah, she's the one that plays Eddie's mother. Yeah, Carlin. She's without her, we wouldn't be here watching this film. She toiled day and night, and I mean, it's amazing. That's why I feel like I was blessed with all of these people to be able to get this film made. Otherwise, no, there was no way you could do it. So, thank you.
One more question for you guys, and then we're going to send it out to the audience here. Is that the lens that we see this film through, and that you see the film through? You've lived this experience by working on it and being the actors and knowing what your characters felt, and know about this experience being those characters. We're at a place now where, unlike in the film somewhat, in the film there's the group of Jewish students, and then there's Palestinian students in a conflict. Where we are today is that the campus conflicts has spread out where there's people from the outside coming in as well, being involved. So you have a broader audience of people that are involved emotionally in this broader conflict. So people who come to this film without your background in working on it, what do you want audiences to take away from this film? What are some of the most important messages for them?
Well, I can simply say, it's good that you don't have the outside agitators in this, because it is about students and their educational process. And I think, yes, we do have outside agitators at this point, but this is a little bit more pure of the story.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a commentary on the film. The question was about what audiences that haven't lived this experience, what you want them to know about.
Talk about behind the scenes.
Well, about what the message of the film, what the film means to you, and what you'd like them to feel
I think
as a result of seeing it.
From what I saw, I think there's at least two nuggets that they can pull from this. One is that it is a testament to how malleable the mind is when you're young and you're trying to learn and pave your way through life. And everybody's armed with really good reasons to hate the other side. And it's easy to get people really fired up. And so be careful of the information. I think we're at a time now where there's battles of information and there's propaganda and you don't know what to believe sometimes. And so the one message is be very careful on what information you ingest. And number two, there is hope for a resolution.
And a lot of the film is about people seeing each other's wounds and problems and coming to understand that.
I was just going to say that I hope everyone cherishes the special relationships and friendships they have in life, family, friends, teachers, all the people that, a lot of people invest time into students too. I know I had many, many mentors friends, family, people that come and go in your life. And even if they're not there for very long, maybe it's a short friendship or mentorship, just to value those people and the special things that they are, the knowledge they're offering you and the connection. Because at the end of the day, I think that the friendships we have and the people we talk to are, are our lives. So I just think that this show, Ramon's words really kind of,
Yeah, life is too short to hate each other.
yeah, just love, I guess.
Yeah.
If I
That's
can
true,
use,
that's what I think.
if I can use yeah, that's a wonderful one. Thank you very
It
much.
all
Yeah.
comes down
Do
to.
the clapping. I think we need that. We need
It all comes down to that.
At this point, picking up from what you said, let me call Susan. She's exactly, she plays the role in the film. Can you please come, Susan?
Oh, good.
In there
Hello. Do we have a seat for her?
yeah.
Please, take a seat. Come on. What was your process? Tell us.
This was my first acting experience in this movie. Ramon auditioned me in the Barnes and Noble, and I had never met you, and I'm watching everybody come in, it's like, are you, and people are looking, I didn't know what to expect, but like you said, Carlin was instrumental in that, and she got me the part, and I was just beside myself. I'm so excited to have a part in the movie. Yeah, I'm just learning lines, and I had experience as a teacher, so having the role as administrator with these guys, it was pretty.
What was it like working with Mo?
Mo was just such a presence.
Right?
You know, just this man, and he's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I really appreciated him.
I think
He's
sometimes
very
you-
genuine and just.
You knew your lines better than him sometimes, I think.
And we could make fun of each other when we had our backs to the camera. But just a real gentleman, a presence, but a genuine, gentle spirit. But he has this big presence, but to be that just beautiful soul. It's nice. And we're friends on Facebook. It's like, hi, Mo. You know, so.
Mo went through a lot actually for this movie. I don't know if anybody realized it, but we were filming a car scene. We actually got rear-ended by a stranger while we were filming, and Mo ended up having to go to the hospital because didn't he like dislocate a hip or something? His shoulder? Yeah, Mo went through hell for this.
Insurance?
ask Ramon, I don't know.
How many actors and extras were in this film? Do you know?
138.
Jerry!
Oh, yeah, you would know.
That's the director.
Well, I mean, people that, I went on IMDb and was looking everybody up, and not all the extras put their names in, but a lot of them do. So I counted out on the cast list, it was 138, but it was much more because just casting the protest scenes,
Yes.
had to be
That's-
100 people.
I agree. That's why I also thought it wasn't accurate. We didn't have all the, because that single day you brought over 200 people.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, but, yeah. It was great. I know it's not our turn to talk, but I just want to say that it was very emotional. And seeing everybody, like, a lot of actors, like Anthony, I've known him since he was a baby, it seems like.
Still is.
And Steve Rosetta, who played Yosef, I mean, I feel like I discovered him. And so to see him was great. And Tim, you were fabulous. As always, we can always count on Tim to be a great newscaster for us here in Boston, And just watching you here tonight, I'm like, are you just winging this? Like, I feel like you're just winging it, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna ask some questions, and like, he just knows how to do it. And Carlin, she did a fabulous job putting this together. And Ramon had come to me, and I was in the middle of tons of different things going on, and but when I couldn't really get involved to the extent of what everybody else did, and, but he did ask me to help with the extras, and it was really great, and I now have children who are 22 and 25 years old. My 22-year-old is on campus at UMass Amherst, and they are, they're very political when it comes to this kind of stuff, and activists, and I can't wait for them to be able to see it. They couldn't come tonight, but I can't wait for them to be able to see it, and I want to host a screening down on the South Shore, where I know I can get a lot of people to come. Just
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
yeah, I mean, you guys better be there, or you'll never work in this town again.
There it is.
Now, is there anybody who has questions in the audience?
I have the microphone if anyone wants to.
Raise your hand if you have a question.
Do you happen to know anybody who was arrested on their own campus recently?
Anybody?
Are you referring to like the fight or that was in the classroom, or just in general?
In general.
Thankfully, no, I don't. I'm very glad I don't.
I've been away from teaching for a few years, but no, not recently.
I don't know.
Although, I mean, as far as the news is, a lot of people are. And mostly for this exact problem. You know, there have been people dragged off of campuses, people suspended, people ejected from their school.
Eddie, how much rehearsal went into your fight scene? And how many takes?
It really did look real, didn't it?
Yeah.
I want to say 20 minutes. I think we had to really, just the whole movie, we had to wing it. And I think that was still one of those moments where we had to just kind of shoot from the hip a lot. And so we didn't have time to prepare. I was using flashcards for all of my lines because Ramon just killed us with these huge dialogues. And that was more important, I think, than you know, sticking a fist to the head. But it was probably about 20 minutes. Yeah, we had to really just go quick.
Anybody else have any questions?
Did he make contact ever? Did you ever make contact with each other?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody actually really got hurt. It was all just emotional trauma being on set.
How about this lady in gray?
So,
Okay.
no,
She's got a microphone. Listen.
I can pass it down to
Yeah.
Was there somebody with a dog in here earlier?
Yeah,
Yes.
so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you sneezing?
Miss it?
No, I didn't want to see that. Anyway.
Well, the dog was misbehaving.
Oh, they do that. What was your question?
So the question is, and this might be too personal a question since it's not exactly about the film, but I'm wondering if any of you have gotten involved with the demonstrations or anything that's been happening in the last year. Does anybody feel comfortable talking about that?
I'll just say no, I haven't, but my family really likes to follow the news, so we do watch a lot, all different channels, all different viewpoints, so we get like all of the different views, and I think that's really important when you're looking at a conflict, is to see the side that you don't necessarily agree on, listen to them, view all the resources, read the good, the bad, and I think it just will give you a better outlook, not better, but it'll give you just a little bit more of a sense of all the different facts, and then you can kind of think about it for yourself and kind of decide.
Actually, it's regretful because most of us are a little too old. I think we're too old to, but we feel like we're too old to be involved that much. I mean, we talk about it over Thanksgiving dinner, things like that.
That's lovely.
But-
I mean, we're involved, and I'm gonna be 80.
Yeah, I'm in my 70s, so.
No, but, so how are you involved? Are you out on the street?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I got arrested twice in the last year.
one for me.
Good.
And how long have you do every day?
Oh, what I do every day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I sit out in Coolidge Corner between the two train tracks, kind of in front of Trader Joe's, Michael Fia, and my sign that says another Jewish mother against the slaughter of Palestinian children. Free Palestine, now I've added Free Lebanon. And I guess, I hate people who don't ask questions, but this is the first time in my life I want to not ask a question, I just want to say something, which is that I have a lot of trouble. What happened at the school might be called a conflict, but what's happening in the world is not a conflict. A conflict implies two equal sides. There are not two equal sides. And I just, it was very painful for me. I was a Zionist, I was raised Zionist, but the truth is the truth, just like the Native Americans and other genocides and settler colonial projects. And I think that as lovely as this film is, and as much as I appreciate it, and the acting was beautiful, and you're all lovely, and I just have to say that. I'm sorry.
And we have room for one more question and one answer.
Hi. Is it Andrea?
Yes, hi.
Okay. I think you played your role beautifully.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you said this is the first time you've seen the whole film in
Yes.
its entirety.
Yes.
Because it was hard. You didn't really want to see yourself.
Yes, it's also, yeah.
I'd like to ask you to say a little more about that, about what was so hard, you know, what the experience was, and coming back to it and seeing it today too.
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's just really, if you think about Kaya, she's someone who's been through a lot of trauma, and everyone can relate to trauma, even if it's something that maybe seems small to you, maybe to someone else that really would have been life-changing. Kaya's trauma, it's, it just makes everything so real, and I think I was a lot younger at the time that we filmed, and as I began to kind of learn more and more about the conflict and just world news in general, it's something I now really enjoy, is learning more about the world, and I guess maybe I was just too young at the time to really appreciate how deep all of our struggles are and how intense everything can be. So I think every year was like another layer of all these different things I learned. So when it was finally time to watch the film, I was coming at it with a totally different perspective, just like a deeper understanding of what a woman would think if she had been through all of this. I think my view at the time was, I'm not babyish, but I guess I would call myself more of a kid back then. So just to watch it with the dialogue, with the actual volume on, to see it on a big screen, and to compound it with all of what we've seen in the past, is it 18 months-ish? It's like getting pounded by reality, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but yes.
Now, okay, so looking back now, all these years,
Yeah.
do you yourself feel you did a good job portraying that?
Oh,
Given
I would
what you
definitely.
know now?
My performance would be very, very different now. Hopefully better, but I think it would also be really hard to play this role now. I don't know if I would have I don't know if I'd have the strength to do it. Like it's like a deep, I think that the performance would be better.
It could be better.
Yeah, maybe not.
Job.
Yeah.
Best job.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just thankful for the experience that I had at the time that I had it. Because I actually auditioned for Jenny, which I can't really picture me playing that role. I'm actually glad I didn't get it because it wouldn't have gone that well. But Ramon, I guess, already had cast Jenny when I showed up, but it worked out. So.
I was just going to ask one real quick question of you guys, because you were talking about the time that you took, sort of gonzo filmmaking, running on the gun and everything like that. What did you learn about yourselves as actors going through this experience? Because, hey, you're going through this experience trying to fix things and to shoot something really quickly. What did you learn about the acting experience for yourselves?
Well, I'd probably never do a movie with Anthony again. No, I think the one key thing I learned actually was, and I was still starting out as an actor back then, was that because our director had so many things to worry about, that he didn't have all the time in the world to give us a lot of notes. And so we had to come prepared with our own bag of tricks to make those emotions believable. So I think it's important to not just rely on how the director tells you to act, but have your own, come armed with your own options too, so that when you need to pull them out, you'll have them ready.
Nice.
Your turn.
Yeah, that was great. I think I learned that you gotta be like a Swiss Army knife, just utility tools. We wore a lot of hats on this movie. I mean, at times I was running camera, so I learned how to run camera from this.
Yeah, when it was all shaky, that was him.
Yeah, that's my first time, right? But this movie taught me a lot on how just filmmaking is in general. It's crazy. Anytime a film comes together, it's no minor undertaking. It's a miracle it comes all together. Even on the large scale stuff, it's still like that for me, where you're showing up and, I mean, I've been on some of the Marvel stuff and you're still facing a lot of the same problems where it's like, they say this department's not talking to that department, and somehow it comes together in the end. But it's honestly just being flexible and being able to be put anywhere and still do the job. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for me from Theory of Conflict, working on it.
Agreed, and just be authentic and show up and be willing to be without thinking about lines and all that, but just show up. Be who you are, be your character. Be your character too. Speak. Live it.
I actually learned I'm really bad at learning lines, and that's really bad when you're doing a dialogue or an accent that you kind of imagine. So it was a bit of, I'd really like to study, but I guess I don't like to study lines, so that was very hard for me. But I guess I learned that you need to prepare more, double what you think you need, because a lot of the time these guys were all doing camera and other things, but most of the time I didn't really do anything but my own little job, which was trying to memorize and do the accent and not worry about like the hijab slipping off. So I guess those were my worries.
I think for me, I was like super young. I was probably like 18, 19 when this was getting filmed in. This was kind of like an internship for me, just kind of watching, all these people work and kind of act. And sort of what I took away from this was sort of kind of transitioning to the other side of the camera, behind the scenes, and ended up kind of getting into documentary filmmaking, broadcast, and stuff like that. And, and throughout this, I think, I don't know how long this is, 14, 11 years or something. I've been kind of in contact with Rahman for a long time, and kind of just been kind of going over and watching him edit and put together stuff. So for me, sort of that was the takeaway, to sort of not just acting, but kind of trying to figure out how everything is made behind the scenes.
Okay, thank you everyone. I think we are running out of time. Oh.
I know we're running out. I'm kind of super curious because I haven't seen these guys for almost a couple of years. I'm trying to figure out, what life kind of led to. I'm kind of curious about my friends over here.
Sorry. Oh, you want me to go? Well, I guess I don't act that much anymore. I'm a writer, so this is very different for me to talk about acting, but it's really fun, and I actually am feeling very excited about it, so it's fun to be here. But mostly I like to write. I'm trying to be a novelist, so if I publish a book, please buy it.
I love acting. I love playing make-believe. Currently, I'm a chiropractor that owns my own business, so I'm pretty busy in my professional life. But on the side, I love to play make-believe, and the acting is just awesome. But like you said, trying to learn lines.
It's so hard.
Taping it on my phone and playing it over my sleeve and everything. But when it comes down to it, if you just be your character, if you can, instead of showing up and being an actress, because it shows if you just memorize your lines and so forth. But I love it, so when I have an opportunity to audition and I get a role, I'm so excited like a little kid. So thank you.
I don't act as much as I'd like to anymore. I've made the switch. I now work as a stunt performer and stunt coordinator. So now when I do act, it's usually because I'm getting hit by somebody else. So I still work in film, just not in the acting capacity.
By the way, if you need a chiropractor.
I know.
Yeah, you can stand up straight. I'm mostly, I've made a transition myself too. I direct commercials and documentaries now most of the time. I still do some acting, mostly just spokesman contract work, and I'm a little more selective on which acting roles I kind of pursue, because there's a lot of suffering involved being an actor. You got to go through a lot of no's and rejection and all that fun stuff, which is fine. You get thick skin, but it gets to a point where you're like, well, you know, is this really going to happen or not? I don't know. And when you stop caring as much, I think that's when the magic happens. So now I'm a little more selective, and it's a lot easier to say no to a lot of things, and it makes the yeses a little more special when they come along.
Right. How about you? You can tell us.
Yeah, for me, you know, having sort of acted, I had a small role in a Hulu series, just a little tiny part, and also, you know, like I said, I transitioned to the cameras. I've been working in broadcast TV for the last 5 years, I would say. Worked for Al Jazeera, NBC, things like that. Currently with NBC, so just covering a lot of student protests, a lot of that stuff. So, you know.
Thank you guys so much. We would love to have some closing remarks from Ramon.
So I want to thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate taking the time to come and see this film with us. And anything that you take away from this film, I want you to, it's something that I hope you can share with other people. Our intention is for us to be able to learn the fact that we can live together. We don't have to be, I always think about how we're going to be in the same community, and so people will be like, you belong to one group, I belong, and we can talk with one another in the same community. Our kids are going to the same school, and we expect people across the world to get along. If we are not getting along, we are not understanding each other. I think that's very important that we take away and share with other people, and hopefully this can spread well enough. Thank you.
Sorry, I just want to say for all of you guys that came out, thank you. I think keep supporting independent movies, because topics like this are not can be made by Disney or, you know, all the other big studios. They're more focused on, you know, all the comic books and whatnot. So thank you for coming out, and thank you. Keep supporting independent films.
Yeah.